Hello again, everyone. I've been seeing a few different things, a few different comments and stuff like that, on a few of the different places that I hang out, and some questions came up about GitHub. And I know that Jeff and I had mentioned GitHub in the last video that the two of us did together, and we kind of went through it a little bit. But what I wanted to do today was just show you what GitHub is, how to get in, and how it can be beneficial in your vibe coding journey. So GitHub in general is what we call a repository or a repo for us to store content, typically code content of some kind. And then we can share, we can create web pages, and as long as you don't have tons of traffic and all kinds of crazy stuff going on, it is free to get started with it. So it's a great place if you're trying to showcase a few different things, if you want to maybe host a portfolio. I know I've heard a few different people out there who are using GitHub or who have used GitHub to host something like a portfolio or just different projects for testing. I typically use it for project testing, and I'll upload all the files, I'll test it out in the browser. I also use that a lot of times to send out to whoever else needs to test it as well. There's other ways you can do it, and honestly, in the end, you can always just upload it right to Rise, and you can share it that way too. But if you're looking for a way to host and share outside of that particular space, then this is for you. All right, so let's go ahead here, and we're not quite vibing, but we're kind of vibing, I think. Anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so I just wanted to pull this up here real quick and just show how we can get in and create ourselves an account. So github.com/signup, that's where you're going to go. Just a quick Google search will get you there. First thing I'm going to do here is over on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have a create your first project. And what we're going to do is create a repository. So I'm going to create a repository here. And we're going to call this project 1, right? Now we can give it a description. This is a test project to see how it works, right? Now, visibility, we can adjust it so that it's public or private. I typically make all of mine public just because I don't really host anything up here that can't be. Totally up to you. Add a ReadMe file. Now, we'll talk about ReadMe files here a little bit later, but I always add a ReadMe file because typically what a ReadMe file does is it gives you an opportunity to explain what you did, talk about the way that whatever you built or vibe coded functions, and then customize it in however you need to so that whoever comes and maybe looks at or grabs your content knows how to mess with it. Now, I'm not going to worry about the git ignore and the add license stuff. If you want to know more about that, absolutely do some research and it will help you to understand. So I'm going to go ahead and choose create repository. All right, here's project 1. I've got a README, and then we have what's called here an initial commit. So every time we upload content into a GitHub project, we are going to upload it, and then we are going to commit to that. Now, one of the benefits of commits is that you can create multiple branches that have different versions of the project you're working on. So if for some reason things go completely off the rails, you're able to go back to a previous working version of your project so that you don't lose any of that original work and your progress can continue. Here we're in our main branch, right? We can see this little drop down here, and we've got a couple options. So I can add files. I can either create a new file manually or I can upload files here. If we're creating an all-in-one file, like we have the HTML, we have the JavaScript, and we have the CSS, the style, all in one, we could create ourselves a new file, create that index file, and then just copy paste the information in there. And that's what we're going to do for this first one. So I'm going to go ahead here and choose create new file. And I've got this new file here. So we're going to go ahead and name our new file, and I'm going to call this index. I'm going to go ahead and copy some information from a project that I was doing. So the project I was working on here was for a video.js player, right? All in one. And I'm going to go ahead and just paste in the content for this. We're not necessarily saving in this case, but what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the top right and we're going to choose commit changes. Now, here gives us an opportunity to then detail out what it is that we're committing. What are we saving in this particular case? So I'm going to call this initial index commit. And then again, if we want to, we can already go ahead and we can put in and say, this is the start of my project. So we'll go ahead here and choose commit changes. Now, the next piece here is how can we then share that initial commit with everybody? And like I said before, we're able to create and build out a page that links directly to this particular project. In order to do that, we have our project open here. We're going to come up top here to our settings. And then in our settings, we're going to come down over here on the left-hand side and select pages. So now what we can do is choose which branch we want to create a web page from. And in this case, we're going to say build and development source, deploy from a branch. The branch I'm going to deploy from is main. We're going to save. So our source page was saved. And then I'm going to come back over here in the top left and choose my project. Now with my project here, right, I've got the original project space, so I can see that I've got the ReadMe, which I haven't done anything with, and I will eventually, but right now I don't think I'm going to mess with it. But we've got our index, which is the initial commit for that JavaScript player. Now over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to hit F5 to refresh, and there you go. You're going to see we've got our deployment here, which is a GitHub page. And as I select GitHub Pages, it's going to come over. All right, here's what it is. Now it's going to describe and tell us this is the initial commit. This is the one that's active. And it's going to keep a running tally so that we know if we then want to go backwards and try something else, maybe something didn't work, who knows. So in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and choose that page, and there it is. So here is our video player. It's not super sexy by any means. I haven't really done a whole lot with it. It was just a demo project that I was doing to answer a question that somebody had. And we hit play, and we can see exactly what it's going to look like on this particular screen. All right, so my player doesn't seem to want to work. After a little digging, I paused there for a second, do a little digging. The link that I used that I thought was evergreen was not. So we have to replace what's in there so that we can test it out. Because I have to go in and edit this content now, I'm just going to simply select the actual file itself. So with my code open here, right, I've got the new code that that I had Claude generate for me. With that new video, so we can test that out. So I'm going to come over here and you're going to see this little pencil here so we can edit this file. So I'm going to hit edit, and then I'm just going to replace the entire thing just so I don't mess anything up. And then we're going to go ahead and save. But again, no saves, right? No saves here. We are going to choose commit changes, and we'll just say we're updating the index.html. Updating the demo video to be evergreen. All right. So we'll commit directly to the main branch and we'll commit those changes. So let's go back to our project here. What's great about this part of it though, right? So we saw that the page worked, right? We saw the page, we saw it was just spinning the video, so we had to fix it. What's great here is that I don't have to deploy another page necessarily in this case. So if I come down here and click on my pages, it's going to show me, right? Here's the page. Here's the link for the page. But now here we are. So I've got the initial, right, commit, and this was 9 minutes ago. And I've got the update index.html, and this is the active one, right? So right now, this is the one that's there. And again, each deployment that we put out, or each time we change the contents of this project, it will automatically adjust here in this page. So I'm going to come up and choose the github.io project. We'll hit play, and once again, it will not work. Okay, so let's see if the third time's the charm. Oh, nothing worse than a link not working, right? Just to make it all that much worse or that much more challenging inside of there. Okay, so it's possible that I just didn't wait long enough. for the other one to actually commit to. I guess I should have been more aware of this little spinning indicator to tell me what is going on. So we'll wait for a couple seconds here and see if it updates, and then see if that solves our problem. Okay, a little bit here. So it looks like it's green and we're ready to go. Let's give this a try one last time, and there it is. So I think that in my haste to to do things a little bit quicker, I just got a little too I just went ahead before it finished setting up. So if we push play, here it is, and everything is hosted and set on this this GitHub page. Okay, so let's jump back over here into our project, right? We've got our project one. So I want to show you one more. I want to show you one more way that we can do this, right? We have the all-in-one. However, similar to what we do in Rise's code block, we can also do it as a package or upload multiple things at once. So a little bit different process, but nonetheless, it's equally as valuable, especially if you want to upload images or audio files or video files of your own, right? All of that kind of stuff. This is where we want to be able to do that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of our index.html, and we're going to replace that with some other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and click on index.html. So I'm going to come all the way over here, and I'm going to hit these three dots. And I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to choose delete file. There we go. The file was deleted. Now it's deleted, but it's kind of not. So we still have to come up here and commit the changes. We're deleting index.html. So now we're going to commit to those changes here. Okay, so let's go back to our project one here, and you'll see our README is all we have left. The index that we just uploaded is gone. So I'm going to come up here and choose add file, and this time we're going to choose upload files. And we'll just grab all of these, drag and drop them into place. Very similar process. Updated site testing here. We'll commit to those changes. Okay, one last thing here that we forgot to do is we need to go into our index file, and we'll edit this. But we're going to change it to be index.html. We'll commit to those changes, and then we'll commit. Okay, so let's hop back over to our project. We'll give it a couple seconds here, and then we'll test it out in our pages one more time. Okay, I think I'm just super impatient today because it took too long for me. So we'll go back to our page. Once again, nothing else changed on my end. I'm going to wait for this guy to set. I thought it was green, but it wasn't. We'll click on here, and then here's the new site that we can sort of test out and see, right? So we've got the logo that we uploaded. We've got the content that we uploaded, as well as that other image and some information. All right, so a lot of stuff here. You'll notice that I kind of flubbed through a few things, and I guess the biggest thing with that is I'm going to leave it in, and I'm always probably going to leave it in because I think it's important to recognize that no matter how much you know or how experienced you are or how many times you've done a certain thing, you can miss some of the little details sometimes. And like I mentioned a few different times in this video, I had for some reason, I was in a big hurry. I don't know why. I was just super excited about it, I think, to do it. And I missed a few of the smaller details inside of there. So super easy to do. But as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you comment down below and ask any questions that you have about this, but go forth and try, right? And conquer. If you don't have a GitHub page now, I encourage you to get one. Give this a try. Start hosting your content, sharing it widely with the world, because the more of us that start working out loud, the more we can learn from each other and the cool stuff we can do, right? I'm a big fan of doing cool things with cool people in cool places. So I highly encourage you all to do that as well. Once again, my name is Destry. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time, and we'll vibe again.